I want to be clear about what this course is from the start. It's not about traffic, and it's not about funnels, and it's not about persuasion tricks. It's about why fintech decisions lose momentum before conversion even becomes relevant. If growth feels stuck around your product, it usually doesn't mean people don't like what they see, but it means the decision breaks somewhere along the way. This course is about understanding where that happens and why. I worked with fintech teams in different markets and at different stages. What kept repeating wasn't bad execution, it was weak products. It was smart teams doing reasonable things and still seeing the same hesitation show up in the same places. Meetings sounded familiar. Should we explain this better? Do users miss something here? Do we need more proof there? Those questions make sense, but they're often asked at the wrong moment. Here's the core idea behind this course. Fintech decisions don't happen in one step. They unfold across a sequence. People decide whether it's safe to engage at all, then whether it's worth paying attention, then whether they trust what they're seeing, and only after that whether the next step feels acceptable. Most teams work on all of these, they just don't work on that in order. That's where friction actually comes from. They start by looking at how fintech decisions actually begin. Not with interest, not with understanding, but with a quiet assessment of effort and risk. Trying to understand already costs attention. Attention requires effort, and under uncertainty, effort is experienced as risk. If that first layer isn't handled properly, everything that follows has to work harder than it actually should. That alone explains a lot of hesitation. From there, we look at where friction is actually introduced early. Not through obvious mistakes, but through small structural choices that increases tension. Things that feel harmless on their own, but add up to an experience that feels demanding. You will start noticing these moments very quickly once you know what to look for. Then we talk about explanation. Why adding clarity often feels like a responsible move and still makes engagement heavier. Not because explanation is wrong, but because sequence matters more than accuracy. We look at why meaning has to come before mechanics and why explaining how something works before it feels relevant creates more effort than confidence. After that, we'll talk about trust. Not trust as branding, not logos or testimonials, but trust as something functional. Trust only matters when it reduces a specific perceived of risk. Otherwise, it's ignored. You will see why trust elements often fail even when they look impressive, and how to tell when they actually help. We'll also look at progression. Why users sometimes understand what you do, feel reasonably comfortable, and still don't take the next step. In fintech, commitment is rarely natural. Steps that feel irreversible or hard to back out of quickly stop momentum. You learn how to spot where that happens and why it's easy to miss. Once all of that is on the table, we'll put it together. We walk through typical fintech messaging conceptually, not to rewrite it, not to redesign it, but to see how changing the order changes how the whole experience feels. This is where it becomes obvious that most problems aren't about what's being said, but about when it's being said. Finally, we'll talk about why this is hard to maintain, why teams understand this once and then slowly drift back, where internal fixes usually break down, and why decision quality degrades as products evolve. This isn't a theory, it's about realism. By end of this course, I don't want you to memorize frameworks. I want you to be able to look at your own product and think naturally. This is ask for effort too early. This increased tension instead of reducing it. This explanation should wait. This part actually makes the decision easier. Not as rules, but as judgment. That judgment what most teams are missing when growth starts to feel heavier than it should. One important boundary before we continue, this course won't tell you exactly what to build and it won't solve your execution problems. What it does is help you stop working on symptoms and start to working on the sequence that creates them. If that sounds useful, let's start with how fintech decisions actually begin.